Okay, so you have now knit the heel flap and the heel turn, and we are going to pick up the stitches along the heel flap. So I have done a contrasting heel, so I'm going to go back and use this colored yarn right here, and I am going to knit across these heel turn stitches. That is done, and now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up these stitches along the heel flap. So because I slipped the first stitch on every row, I have created this really nice chain. So what I'm going to do is, using this needle, I'm going to go into that chain stitch, catching both legs, and I'm going to, like to use my thumbnail like that. The other thing you could also use is a crochet hook. So again, just go into both legs of that V and pick up all the stitches along the heel flap. And I learned this from Yarn Harlot, but you know, if you don't have the same exact number of stitches on both sides, don't worry about it. You can go back and do an increase or a decrease. Okay, and sometimes it's just a little fiddly. So there you go. Just keep going until you get to the last chain stitch. Complete that one, and then we will place a marker, and then we're going to knit across our instep stitches, and then we're going to place a marker, and then I will show you how to pick up the stitches along the other side. Instep stitches have been knitted, so now we're going to place our second marker, and we're going to grab our yarn, get the right one, there we go, and we are now going to pick up these chain stitches along the edge. So the same thing, I slipped that first stitch, so now I have this really nice chain, and I can see right through those spaces, and I can put my needle in there. So we'll go ahead and do that. So just like this, give it a good pull. And I don't know why, but I always find this side to be a lot easier than the last side. Now that I just said that. And there we go. So just go along and pick up the rest of these chain stitches along the edge, and then what you're going to do is knit half of your heel flap stitches, which for me is 9, and then I'll place a marker there just to give me an indication of the beginning of the round. Place your marker to indicate the beginning of the round, and then I'm just going to knit one stitch to secure that marker. And now you will see that we have our 9-inch circular with all our stitches back on our needle. We've got our heel flap, our heel turn, heel flap, instep stitches, and then our heel flap again, and our heel turn stitches. And in between here is marked with our instep. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is we are going to knit to 3 stitches before the first marker, And there's our last 3 stitches. So now we're going to do a slip. Hang on a second. So we've come to the last 3 stitches. So we're going to do a knit 2 together and a knit 1, and then we're going to slide our marker and work in pattern across these stitches until we get to the next marker. We're at the end of our instep stitches, so now we're going to slip the marker and we're going to do a knit 1 and just give that stitch a good tug so that you avoid any ladders. Good tug. And now we're going to do our SSK. Slip, slip, and knit. Whoops. Put those stitches back on. And knit. And there we go. And now we're just going to knit until the beginning of our round, which is marked right there. I just like to push that in like that. That way you guys can see. And we're coming up to the end of the round. I have knit all the heel flap stitches now and the heel turn stitches and marked the end of my round with a stitch marker, and then I just knit that first stitch there just to secure the marker. There you go, look at that. And now you're on your way. So what you will do on the next round when you get to your, just let me push those needles or stitches up. When you get to your stitch marker again, you're going to do an even round of just plain knitting. You're not going to do any decreases. And knit and pattern across your instep stitches, and then slip that marker and just knit across. So you're going to alternate every round with a decrease round and then a plain knitting round. So I hope that took the mystery out of how to do a heel on a 9-inch circular needle.